And I think we are live, mate.
Yep.
Raph, how are you, buddy?
Hey Fanos, yeah, I'm really good. There was a lot of action today, which I know we're going to get into today.
Oh, it's been confusing.
Yeah, it's been very,
Been
very
a very
confusing.
confusing day.
Yeah, that's why we have to go live. Got to let people know what the hell is going on because I know, yeah, there's been a lot of different information going out every day, but yeah, that's what we're here for. And yeah, really looking forward to this live to talk about a few different things
Yep,
as to where
definitely,
Australia's
mate.
going.
Let's bring up the Facebook thing so we can see comments and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
So just give me 1 second here.
How's it going, guys? Be
While we
sure
bring it
to
up.
smash the hearts, share this everywhere, because you know what, in the lead up to the date, the only thing that's been shared, the date, I guess, yeah, in the lead up, guys, we need to make sure that there are numbers. We need numbers. So
Right.
like the times are so critical and crucial right now. So we got to do the very best we can with no regrets.
That's correct, mate. I'm just bringing up this quickly. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. It has been it's been a very interesting couple of days. It's been a very interesting week. It's been an interesting 12 hours.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing up the live now so I can see the comments, and then we'll get into it. So today we're going to discuss mandatory vaccines. All that time we we're talking to people about how it was all going to happen, and everyone's like, "Oh, no, 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 no." Now, obviously, you know, there's no difference though between a mandatory vaccine and you taking away every civil right and liberty I have and not allow me to live a normal life if I don't have one. That's coercion. It's exactly the same thing.
It's so true. And like
Right.
we were ridiculed so much months ago, many, many months ago. Like if the group of the 99% that one that didn't go down with 66,000 members, you would have been able to see.
Sorry, I got the echo.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, go.
You would have been able to see all of our last videos since the very beginning, the first videos that we were making, especially you talking about how mandatory vaccines were coming, and people were ridiculing us, saying there's no way, you guys are crazy. And it's like, look where we are now. Look where we are.
Do you remember that the female that was hell bent and she full came and did like a 3-page essay on who I was and how bad I was and how people shouldn't listen to me, and she was hell bent on talking about, because I spoke that they're going to make vaccines mandatory, and she lost her shit.
I
remember? I think her name was Emma or something. She literally had like 3 paragraphs. It was 3 screenshots of writing that she wrote. I read it. I got halfway through. Mate, no one got time to read this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so funny. You should write back to her. I'm gonna go share this in the groups.
All right, yeah. So share away, guys. Guys, can we hit the share button? Right. The more exposure we get, the more people we get seeing what we're talking about. The more people are exposed to the lie, and the more people know that they're not on their own out there, and they know that, you know, they're not the only ones who believe, you know, that there is something seriously wrong with what's going on in this country at the moment. Right. So the fact that the premier can turn around and go, we're going to make vaccines as mandatory as possible. Listen, mandatory is either mandatory or not mandatory. Mandatory means you have to. Right? So it's either mandatory or it's not. Stop all this double speak and all this double talk, right? Like staying together is what keeps us together. Staying apart is what keeps us together, right? And all this other double talk shit that they've been using these days, this language, right? Stop using it and start speaking to people honestly. Don't say to people, oh, no, we're not going to force you to have the vaccine. No, we said we were, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're just going to make it really, really hard for you to live without it. No, I'm sorry. If you're going to allow this to be a free country, then that means that you don't coerce me to, like with masks, right? I can't go into Bunnings now when I don't have a mask. I can't go to Coles now if I don't have a mask. So is that going to be the same as the vaccine now? So does that mean if I don't get the vaccine now, I can't go shopping? So I know we're not going to force you to take it, but the retailers can just say you can't come inside our store. Right? Oh no, we're not going to ask you to take it, but that means you can't get your, you can't get your family tax benefit, or you can't get your child payments, or whatever you work off with regards to getting things off the government now, right? Is that all going to be gone? And are these questions that people should seriously ask themselves, right? Are you going to be able to have a driver's license? Are you going to be able to have a bank account? Are you, how they said no vaccine, no travel. So basically what you're saying is, oh, we can't force medicate you, but we're going to make your life really, really difficult until you give in. I'm sorry, that's not freedom. I'm sorry, you're not giving someone a choice. That's coercion. You're blackmailing people.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be really interesting in terms of what you mentioned there about travel and vaccines, because I reckon that's going to be one of the points where they're going to hit hard and say, yeah, that you cannot travel without that vaccine. And it's going to be interesting watching the different states now, how they're starting to keep people in their states. So you wonder how far they'll push that, whether, if you're even allowed to drive to another state unless you have some sort of evidence, whether it's the digital identities that are going to slowly come up with this new technology now, or if it's just a sheet of paper or something for now showing that you have, or if not, yeah, you're just going to not be able to travel, go anywhere, maybe not even be able to get a job, go into supermarkets, whatever it is. Yeah.
How is that living? How is that not being forced to do something when you create circumstances around which, whether you make the decision or not, impedes on your level of being able to live in your life? Well, I'm sorry, you're forcing people. So you're not forcing people, but you're just going to make it really difficult for them if they don't. And what does it matter? I'm sorry, if 85% of the population is vaccinated, why does it matter if 15% doesn't? Doesn't that mean only 15% are going to be the ones who are going to be catching it?
Yeah.
Right. And aren't they the 15% that want to deal with it in their own way anyway? Shouldn't it be your choice? Since when does one man get to decide on how 25 million people live? Yeah. I'm sorry, just because you're the prime minister doesn't give you free reign on just telling us how to be, how to live, and who we are. We elected you, you piece of shit. We put you in that position. Just remember that. You're only there because the people have voted you there.
Yeah. And you see how they put the spin on, oh, you're going to get free mandatory vaccination. So like the people that are actually into this stuff, they're like, oh yes, it's free. Like I'm going to be able to save myself from this deadly contagious virus, even though they just get you when you test positive to sit at home for 2 weeks anyway, and you can recover. So it's like, it does not make sense to try and mandatory vaccinate the whole population of Australia, especially for something that hasn't even impacted 0.002% of the population. Does not make sense at all. And that's after how many months? It's been so many months. And what I can't wrap my head around as well, I'm not sure if you guys, I'm sure the majority of you guys have seen the pool party that was happening in Wuhan. It was a pool packed of people. It was like a concert in a pool. And meanwhile, like they're all enjoying themselves there. And meanwhile, we're having each and every single right taken away from us because everyone is still scared, thinking that there's actually something deadly out there.
Look, the fact of the matter is, man, and people need to come to terms with the fact that the death rate's low. I don't care how many people don't tell me cases, mate. Because if you want to argue that, let's have a look how many people get the common cold every year. Should we go down that road? Are they dying of it? No. Some people do, right? Because their immune system's compromised. Some people die of the flu because their immune system's compromised. Don't tell me, stop saying cases, this, cases, that. Are people dying in the thousands? That's what I want to know. Don't tell me anything else. Because if you're saying we've got cases but no one's dying, that's a good thing. That means we're dealing with it. That means if there is a virus, we're dealing with it, and we're perfectly physically capable of dealing with it without needing any type of external help like vaccines. We don't need it.
Yeah, and especially vaccines that are just looking like they're being absolutely rushed out. Like, I don't even know if they've done animal testing on it yet. I don't even think they have. And they're bringing out a new vaccine. So the humans are pretty much just the guinea pigs here. So they're going to deal with the consequences once everyone's got them in their system.
Yeah,
It's
I love
very,
that. Yeah.
very,
So
very dangerous.
it is dangerous. Okay, so let me get this right. So hydroxychloroquine, 50 years it's been around, you could probably just take it even if you didn't have malaria and you'd be fine, right? Because drugs don't work like and make you worse if you don't have something, right? It either affects your body or it doesn't, right? And it either does something when you take it or it doesn't. So you're telling me, but you want to go and use an experimental vaccine, and it's experimental because it hasn't had long-term exposure. You haven't tested long-term exposure. Don't tell me it's safe. Yeah. You don't know what that thing's going to do to me in 6 months to a year. You don't know. So don't tell me it's safe. So is it experimental? Yes. Have you ever treated anyone with coronavirus before with this? No. You don't even know people have coronavirus. You believe you do, but the tests are false positive. The tests aren't even accurate. The tests don't even test for coronavirus. So let me get this right. You want to inject me with something that's experimental for a virus that you guys don't even know 100% exactly how this thing works yet, right? You haven't even gone through a proper stages of vaccines like you do with all your other vaccines, right? You want to stick it with the population, and you want to do that all within what? 8 months of it being introduced into this country. And you're worried about you're worried about the old, right? So let's talk common sense here for a second. You're worried about the old. Let's talk common sense. How does a vaccine work apparently? It works with your immune system, right? Now they're worried about all the old people because they're going to die from COVID. So you've got old people that have been stuck in nursing homes, haven't been given sunlight and proper exercise like they usually would, haven't been given the ability to go out and enjoy life and go to the pokies once a week and everything else they usually do, right? And allow them to just, enjoy themselves, any type of whatever, entertainment they have. They're depressed as all shit. They can't see their family. Their immune systems are shot to shit because of all this. God knows the way they're being treated with these new procedures with regards to keeping everyone away from the deadly virus that has a 99% recovery rate. And then you want to stick them with a vaccine that's going to need their immune system to work when their immune system compromised. Mm. And you're going to tell me that that's a good thing. And anyone out there, please be stupid enough to comment on what I just said and say that I don't know what I'm talking about when I say that vaccines need your immune system to work. And if your immune system's shot to shit, a vaccine's not going to do anything. If anything, it's going to make you sick. What do you reckon, Ralph?
Yeah, because you don't know what you're stabbing yourself with, number one. And yeah, it's like the guinea pigs as well. I feel like it's like, where does this lead? So where my mind goes on one end is is this going to be a vaccine that is just say something that you have to have a yearly checkup or something where let's say, for example, that you can't travel without a vaccine, but then you actually have the vaccine and then you have 12 months to travel. What happens once those 12 months are done? And then they're like, all right, no, you're due for your 12-month vaccination. You got to have it again. So you can see how it goes down that path. But yeah, especially with the old people though, it's really, really disturbing. And I feel like that is where we're going to have extra deaths because you know what can come out of it? They can just be like, oh yeah, we had the vaccine, we gave it to them, but now they're actually dying of COVID. They're going to say
we've had millions of people die of COVID now. Just so happens after the vaccine was implemented, Why you want to vaccinate kids for? I thought kids aren't susceptible to COVID.
Yeah.
Why are you vaccinating them for?
Yeah.
And won't COVID just change and become another strain like the flu does every year? And they said that they're going to want to do them annually. So they're going to want to stick you annually for these. Every 12 months. Have you had your COVID jab? Yeah, every 12 months.
Yeah, but they will, yeah.
And just think about that for a second. How ridiculous is that? And now the Prime Minister, because he didn't get the reception he thought he would when he said that they were going to make it mandatory and the public lost their shit, he decided to change his tune and say that they won't make them compulsory. That's exactly what they said about, what did they said that something about something else.
Yeah, they did. I'm not sure. It wasn't masks. It was.
I think it was masks.
Maybe it was. Yeah, maybe it was early on with masks. And then they sort of moved.
They said something was going to be compulsory. I mean, a mandatory. And then they turned around and said a day later that, oh no, it won't be compulsory. That's what they said.
Yeah, I think it was masks. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
So let's go down that road for a second, right? We've got a virus and this is according to the figures by the government, that was lucky to had infected 0.4% of the people that had been tested for it. There was 4.6 million tests. They went door knocking to find it. They couldn't find it. They said it was going to be super deadly. It was lucky to have killed 400 up until this stage. And people say, oh, that's a lot. No, it's not. There's 25 million people in the country. Stop looking at just the numbers and look at it from a percentage factor with 25 million people. Yes, do I have grievances towards a family? 100%. Yeah. Right? We're not discussing that. We're talking statistics here.
Yeah. Hey, Fanos, let me share my screen. I've got a really good live website on the whole Victorian daily summary of cases, active ones, tests, deaths, recoveries.
Oh,
good. Really good.
Look at that. I'm going to close this door.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, there. Oh, sweet. I can bring it up. Awesome. All right. So what you can see here, guys, Victorian daily summary. Like, we have 44 individuals in ICU out of a population of 6.5 million. 44.
Can we just say something about that? Do you know there's over 10 hospitals in Victoria, in Melbourne? I think there's 10. I think there's more than 10. Right? So how many is that in ICUs across all of the hospitals?
Some will be in.
Don't just say 44. That's nothing. You'd be lucky if there's one. How many people are in ICUs for other reasons? Yeah.
And that's all they say.
In the ICU because they tried to kill themselves.
Yeah. And look at this.
We don't have those stats. No. Don't talk about those, Dan Andrews.
They've done 2,008,000 tests. 2 million. And like, also, even these tests, like they do it multiple times to the people that are in aged care homes just to get that positive, you know, and only 15,900 tests are positive.
And you know, think about what the people in the elderly facilities are going through at the moment. They're not allowed to go in here and they're subjected to these tests. They're fear-mongered. They're not allowed to see their family, right? And at the same time, they have to keep going through all these tests. Of course, you're going to be distressed. Some of these people are only holding on because of the fact that they have family that they look forward to seeing. Some people lose the will to live when they don't have their family around, when they don't have anyone around. And did you see I couldn't believe that thing. Did you see that thing I shared? How it talked about, them putting the deaths with palliative care as well. I'm going to share that. I'll show you that.
Sure. And even, I forgot the name of the person. I believe they were either in New Zealand or New South Wales. I know, big difference. But the health minister or whatever was pretty much saying that if you have flu-like symptoms, if you have the cold, if you have respiratory problems, or if you have a runny nose, they said you don't have the flu, you have COVID. You don't have the
Yeah,
cold,
the
you
flu's
have
gone.
COVID. Yeah.
Flu's gone. The flu and the common cold, they saw COVID was coming and they decided that it would be best if they allow COVID to do its thing because they're around every year and they wanted to let COVID just do whatever it wanted to. Right? Very accommodating, the flu and the cold. They just allowed COVID to come through. What a load of shit, man. Seriously.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
It just
And, you know,
upsets me, man.
Yeah, and we know it's good because people have had enough. Like they've tried to fix this for so long. So many people have lost their businesses, generational businesses that have been here for ages, not letting people work while still allowing bloody parking inspectors to work. Like, are you kidding me? And so many people are having their lives ruined right now. And you just see how lockdowns don't even really work with what happened in New Zealand, like 102 days, 0 cases out of nowhere. They start testing and then they just lock it down again. So this is Victoria's answer with this vaccine as well, which is just
all right. I'm going to share
disgusting
this.
and makes no sense.
Listen to what Brett Sutton says.
For deaths from coronavirus, anyone who's a confirmed case who dies is classified amongst coronavirus deaths. So it doesn't have to be definitively from coronavirus. And in some instances, in aged care, there would have been some residents who were already receiving palliative care who became infected with coronavirus. So it's not definitive about whether they've died with or from coronavirus. I think it's fair to say that coronavirus is a very serious infection in anyone in aged care. But for classification purposes and
no. So just so we can touch base on what that means, yeah? If you're saying that someone, you're counting the deaths from palliative care. My mum, God rest her soul, she had cancer and she died in palliative care. Palliative care is when you take them out of the hospital and you put them in a special place so they can medicate the crap out of them and they can die without feeling anything. They take you to palliative care to die. So the fact that they are taking people's family members and completely, like, do you know how disgusting that is to use the painful death of family to garnish your numbers for your deadly disease that you're destroying the economy for and people's lives for? Do you know how disgusting that is? Mm-hmm. Do you know the fact that the guy even mentioned that? All these guys should be put in cuffs and be put away. That's palliative care. You got 2 weeks to live, and that's when you get put in there. So you're telling me someone had 14 days to live. They were 2 days before their deathbed. They were tested for coronavirus, which you shouldn't even be doing anyway. They're in palliative care. Why are you testing people in palliative care for coronavirus? They're dying because their organs are shutting down and they're in extreme pain and discomfort. And you've got mate, I'm so fucking angry. You've got the audacity to go and test those people for the coronavirus. Do you have any conscience whatsoever? And you're going to sit there and tell me that's for the good of that person. They're medicated to the shit house and they're on their deathbed and they're in a place that they're ready to die, and you want to test them for coronavirus. Or you didn't test them and you assumed the death was from coronavirus because that's what that other thing said from the health department. Have you got that? That says
no, I don't.
A death if the death is if they haven't been tested, the health professional should. It would be no. What they say? It would be reasonable. It would be reasonable to say to assume that the death was contributory from coronavirus.
Yeah, I'll be able to find it. Just keep talking.
And you're going to say to me that these people can actually sit there with a straight face and say this to people. And you know what does my head in? The fact that people aren't pissed off about it. That Brett Sutton gets on national television and admits to the Australian public that they are using the numbers from palliative care as deaths, and that's not a problem. You're garnishing our numbers. The fact that we're being locked in our homes and having people that are strangled on the street for not wearing a mask and all these powers. And then you're going to turn around and say, you've been garnishing our numbers with people that were going to die within 2 weeks. Are you kidding me? How do you sleep at night, you piece of shit? How do you sleep at night?
Yeah, it's disgusting. It's
Go. Someone
disgusting.
say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Go. Someone say that using palliative care numbers is in some way practical to be able to assess and deem the level of people dying and a death rate of a virus that's destroying people's lives right now. Go and tell me that there is a move that isn't fraudulent and disgusting in every single way possible. Go. Unbelievable, mate. That is unbelievable. And people sit there and defend these people.
Yep. And they get a payout. And we know Troy, one of the guys that spoke out, his uncle had passed away from cancer, who had been dealing with cancer for years. And they tried to pay them out on, say, oh yeah, you're going to get a big $59,000 check if we can put this down as COVID.
Why would you need a financial incentive for something like that?
That too. It's the financial incentive. And even the financial incentive to have people going for their tests so they can get paid to do the test to rank up those numbers. It's
disgusting, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is what does my head in, right? Why do you need to incentivize something that's so deadly? Why do you need to be using palliative care numbers of deaths for this virus? And don't you love the vaccine? They said we tested the vaccine on 25 to 50-year-olds. Oh, really? So everyone that was actually dying of COVID, they haven't been tested.
Yep.
True.
And they tested the most healthy individuals as well, they wrote on those articles. The healthiest.
Great. That's fantastic. So go and put the vaccine in an 80-year-old in a nursing home and see how long they live.
Yeah.
So hang on. You're telling me that you're saying that this thing's so deadly because it's killing the elderly. That's what you're telling me. And then you're turning around and telling me we created a vaccine because of the fact that all these people are dying who are elderly. And then you're telling me that the people you tested are anything but the elderly. But the only ones that were being affected majorly by this were the elderly. But then when you do introduce this, you're introducing this because of the fact that elderly are dying and we need to do something. What are you talking about?
Oh, Fanos, I got the video here. You want me to play it?
Oh, yeah. Chuck it on.
Sweet.
Death is a resident at Rosewood Rest Home in Christchurch. This man in his 70s passed away in the hospital level wing of that unit last night. He was not part of the group that had been transferred to Burwood Hospital. The man had an underlying condition, and while he had tested negative for COVID-19, he was considered a probable case based on his exposure and symptoms. And as I have said before, these probable cases are treated as if they are positive and managed in the same way, and we are including them in all our statistics, including our mortality statistics.
And you included them in your mortality statistics, really, mate? Look, if people aren't sick and tired of all of the bullshit that surrounds this whole virus from the start, makes me sick, man. Like, if people haven't woken up to the lie yet, the amount of lies that are surrounded with this and the amount of deceit and deception that is associated with maintaining the narrative as to the validity of just how dangerous this virus is. Listen to me, I'll tell you something. If this thing was super deadly, you wouldn't need to use palliative care numbers. One, if this thing was super deadly, there'd be people in hospitals. I mean, waiting rooms would be full of people needing to be treated from this. It wouldn't matter what lockdowns and whatever you did, because people would still be interacting. If this thing was so deadly, people would be dropping dead on the street. if this thing was so deadly. If this thing was so deadly, of the 21,000 or 22,000 cases, there would have been a higher percentage of death than 0.4, whatever the hell it is now, right? You're treating us as a virus that had a 4% mortality rate with the way you're treating the population, but it's got a 0.4% mortality rate. And the only reason we gave you those powers in the first place is because we believed it was the former. We believed it was the original death rate that we were going to be dealing with. But now it's not. But now you want to lock us down even further. What are you talking about, mate? Seriously.
Yeah. And you can even see when it came to the masks as well. So like, yeah, it's like if this was such a deadly disease, people wouldn't be fighting not to wear masks. People wouldn't be fighting not to be vaccinated, because if this was so deadly, the majority would literally be running and sprinting after this. There would be little to no rejection of it.
You wouldn't need coercion campaigns. There would be Facebook groups such as us that would be advocating that people do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There would be so much support surrounding what was going on that you wouldn't need. Why would you need to stop conspiracy theorists from talking?
You wouldn't even have to say anything, because common sense, everyone would just go after it.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're speaking up is saying something.
It is. Right?
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw that video, and I'm sure some of these guys saw it. I can't find it on my laptop to show you guys, but someone was traveling in the city, and you see the extra powers that the police have gotten through this, so we already know the numbers are being ranked up, old people are being killed, hospitals are being incentivized, false positive, all of that. But on top of that, to keep people safe for your health and safety, this guy was literally on his scooter in the city, and there was about 25 cops that surrounded him just because he was alone traveling him. They all surrounded him in a circle. He did nothing. And then you also see the mainstream media that were pulling out their cameras, and they were getting shots like in the background as well. And who knows what sort of story they would have flipped on that with all these cops and just one person there.
So you're telling me this guy's nowhere near anyone, not putting anyone at risk of catching COVID. I'm so sick of saying that fucking word. And 25 cops surround this guy for his own safety to stop the spread of COVID by putting him into a position where he's more likely to catch COVID than he was before they'd come up to him.
Yep.
And that's common sense. Does anyone in the comments section know where that the section is of children being removed from homes? Can someone comment in the comments section what section that was and what act it was, if you know, so we can bring it up?
I'm going to look through my messenger.
We want to bring it up and we want to talk about it.
Yeah, I reckon I've been sent it 100 times, but let me see.
We're just going to wait for someone to comment and see if someone knows what act it was under. The children being removed. It was section 25, but I don't remember what act in South Australia it was.
Yeah.
I think it was the Emergency Response Act or the COVID. Yes, section. Yeah, but what was the act called? South Australian Act, section 25. But what was the? What was?
Oh, here it is. Oh, wait. Let me see. I think I got it.
It doesn't matter if it's. People don't say, "Oh, it's just in South Australia." If it's in South Australia, they can bring it out anywhere.
Yeah, I've got it. I'll bring it up. Let me find it on my.
Bring it up. Let's talk about it.
All right, legislation.
To all the people that were going, I remember when I first started this group, Raph, like when I first started ages ago, right? I had so many people on the offensive saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, why would they make vaccines mandatory? Oh, is that it? COVID Emergency Act, Section 25.
Yeah, I got it here. Emergency response. Oh, there it is.
Section 25. But bring it up for a sec.
Page 33.
I had so many people, and people were hell bent on just, attacking the crap out of me. And this was before I'd created the main groups and everything. And they said there's no way the government would do that. There's no way they'd make vaccines mandatory. There's no way they'd lock us in our homes. There's no way this, there's no way that. And I'm like, you don't get it, do you? They don't care. They'll do whatever they want. Oh, we'll bring it up now. You got it there?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's this one.
25, section 25.
25. I don't know
That's
why.
the one. No. No, I don't think it was Emergency Management Act.
Maybe it was the
COVID-19 Response
Act.
Emergency Response Act. Yeah, that's the one. Go to section 25. Scroll down.
Yeah. Here it is. Got it.
There you go. All right. After section 25, insert. Without degradation from section 25 and that's 25A. So go to 25. So this is section 25.
Yeah.
Go down.
Yeah, that's what it's talking about.
All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look what it says.
Yeah. So from here. So an authorized officer may use force as is reasonably necessary
in exercise of discharge of power of function under this section or in ensuring. Just go to that 25A.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, removal of children without degradation from section 25, an authorized officer may, for the purpose of ensuring compliance with any direction under that section, remove a child from any premises or place, vehicle or vessel to take place to a place of a residence of the child or to a or to a hospital or quarantine facility as the authorized officer thinks fit, and may in doing so use such force as reasonably necessary. Subsection 2, in this section, child means a person under the age of 18. Place of residence includes the case of a child who is in custody or under the guardianship of chief executive under the Children and Young People Safety Act 2017, any place directed by the chief executive. Now, just go up. So I'm going to read that one more time. Without degrading from section 25, any authorized officer may, for the purpose of ensuring compliance with any direction under that section, remove a child from any premises, place, vehicle or vessel to a place of residence of the child, or to a hospital, or a quarantine facility. As the authorized officer thinks fit, and may, in doing so, use such force as reasonably necessary to do that. Now that is concerning. Now, if you go up, section 25, just want to have a quick look at that. So, Emergency Management Act, section 25. The state coordinator or delegate of the state coordinator may give direction or make requirement under this section that it applies to persons generally throughout the state. A direction or requirement of a kind referred to in subsection 3 must be published on a website determined by the state coordinator within 24 hours. For avoidance of doubt, state coordinator or authorized officer may exercise or discharge power function under this section, even if do so would contravene another law of the state. State coordinator or authorized officer may use such force as reasonably necessary in the exercise or discharge of a power or function under this section, or ensuring compliance with direction or requirement under this section. So that there is the amendments.
Act. Yeah.
Their amendments is what they are. It's showing the amendments. But section 25A is certainly concerning. Any action in which they can remove your children, that's concerning. And to take them to a quarantine facility, so you can stop sharing that.
Yep.
So to take them to a quarantine facility, really?
Based on directions.
So you're going to tell me the virus is a 99% recovery rate, But you've created laws that can take children away from their parents because of it. For a virus that you've been garnishing the numbers with palliative care deaths. And who knows how many, that was just in Victoria, they admitted about palliative care deaths. That means people that have been dying in palliative care all around Australia have been going towards the numbers of COVID deaths.
Yep.
Are you kidding me? So
Yeah,
this 300 could very well be 150.
It makes sense because they're counting people under COVID numbers that are bloody over 100 years old. There's been many multiples people in their hundreds, 90s. So I wouldn't even doubt that that's the case.
Yeah. So it's, what else were we going to talk about? I think that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think we should just talk about the event again, just to for the people that joined late.
Clarification on what happened with the event, right? So, the guy who originally organized that post, basically, he created a comment saying that, you know, if myself and Raph and other people were going to sit on our hands and not do anything, he was going to take it into his own power to do something about it, which is what he said, right? So the people that have been in since the beginning, putting themselves out there and putting their entire reputation on the line to do something about this. And just because we didn't decide to do something like earlier because it wasn't the right time,
like a few days earlier,
someone has come out and said, oh, you know, well, so you take the smiley and you take the $500,000 and do whatever you want with it. Right? You want to do something, go ahead, but don't use something that's been created and nursed and you know, being pushed towards people with an interest from completely different parties, and then you take ownership of it. Right? So anyway, we've come to terms. We've decided to do it all on the 13th. Okay. Now, this isn't one collective person who's decided to do this. This is all people, all different influences around the country are all coming together to do it on the same date. That's it. This isn't about egos. This isn't about who's going to be the face of it, right? This is about everyone getting together on the same date and everyone, promoting the same date Australia-wide. That's all it's about.
Yeah.
Right. So interesting chat, Raph.
Yeah. It was good. It was good night. I feel it was good. And guys, I just want to put it out there. Like, I'm actually pretty excited to meet everyone. Like, I'm really excited for what's going to go down. Like, yeah, you know, and it's been a long time coming, but at the same time, like, we need to know what we're standing there for. And we must be heard, you know, and we will be heard, and we'll be heard even after that event. So, and I know every single time the media has tried to cover it and try to put it in a negative light, you know what, I reckon they're going to have a lot more of a tougher time this time around. I really reckon they will. And if anything, every single time they talk negative about the individuals at the protest, the people that see the truth about it all through the live streams, because we're all going to be live streaming whatever it is, like the people that see the truth, like the mainstream media actually helps put more eyes on the group, actually allows people to know where the movement is, because they don't believe the crap the mainstream spits out anyway. And they've ruined themselves this whole pandemic, because we've seen COVID crisis actors. We've seen so many different people that have looked like they've been paid to make videos telling people to wear masks, protect themselves. Like we had that girl that we showed the other day, she was singing to the top of her lungs when she was saying she had COVID and she could hardly breathe. So just a bunch of stuff. But you know what, it's good that we're all coming together. There's so many more numbers worldwide. We're seeing Europeans in all different countries really make a mark and wake up to stand up and call the end of the pandemic themselves. But just quickly, what I will mention is that this date, it can't just pass and then we all go back to normal. From that date, it needs to be like, you know what, guys, from there, no more masks, businesses back open. We're not taking this stuff anymore, because if all of us stand up, if every single Victorian stands up to these lockdowns or whatever, and we just go about life, there's nothing they can do. There's absolutely nothing they can do.
Listen, it's not about setting one date. after that date, it's about doing it every day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about every single day you're down there until this shit stops. That's what it's about after that. See, we left it this late because we wanted people to see that no matter what we did, right? No matter what we did, they're going to further the lockdowns. No matter what we did, they're going to increase the stages. Now, I heard that apparently on the 13th, they're going stage 5 and they're going to lock people in their houses for 2 weeks. They're locking down the whole bloody state. For what, mate? And you know they're saying, "Oh, we're going to extend stage 4 if people don't come to get tested." I'm sorry, mate. You got a deadly virus. Why do you need me to come and get tested for? Shouldn't you have people lining up to get tested, considering this thing's so deadly? Why are you going looking for it? Why are you begging people to come get tested for? What are you doing that for? If it's not deadly, and you need to be begging people, you need to coerce people to come and get tested for it. Are you serious? Unbelievable, mate.
And get paid to get tested.
Raph, anything to finish on?
No. All I can say is everyone just share this around. Make sure you smash the heart so then it goes on the feed, because as I said at the very beginning, these times are critical and we need to make sure we have no regrets each and every single day going forward, and making sure that at least by the end of it, or wherever this ends up, that like you have no regrets, you know, deep in your heart that you did all that you could. And yeah, so please just hold yourself to that. And we're all in this together. We're all still going with this. So yeah, we got one another, but that's all I got to say. And thanks so much, Fanos, for tonight. I had a really good talk.
Yeah,
and
you too, Raph.
Yeah, again, look forward to seeing you guys all.
Thanks, guys. Have an amazing night. Hopefully you enjoyed the chat. You know, hopefully you enjoyed what we did tonight. You know, a little bit, we just wanted to have something that was impromptu with regards to what's going on at the moment, but just some things to finish on, right? And a summary of tonight. You know, they're garnishing the deaths with, you know, people in palliative care. They're talking about mandatory vaccines for a virus which they don't even know 100% about yet, and they don't even, you know, completely unequivocally know that exists to the level and extent it does, and as deadly as it is, that they still want to inject the population with it. The Premier's turning, your Prime Minister's turning around and saying, "Oh, we won't make it mandatory, but we'll make your life difficult until you decide to take it." It's just enough. I'm sorry. Thanks, guys. Have an amazing night. Share it, because we are the alternate news. See you later.